Hey, it's your boy, and welcome to the Shitshow Extravaganza. Now I know that I didn't include the People's Choice Awards in last week's episodes. Did I forget? Yes. Did I remember before the episode went up? Yes. Was I too lazy to go back and fix it? Also, yes. I can't be blamed though. Some of these answers just made me want to ask more questions. Anyways, on to today's topic. Patriotism. Man, that's a heavy P, isn't it? I picked this topic because, in case you don't know, February 25th and 26th are important to Kuwait. They are Kuwait's National Day and Liberation Day, respectively. Kuwait celebrates its National Day to mark Sheikh Abdullah Salam Sabah's ascension to the throne in 1950. The Liberation Day marks the day when Kuwait was liberated from Iraqi occupation in 1991. Schools and most businesses take these days off to celebrate and have fun, and here I am making shitty podcasts nobody asked for. This gave me the idea to discuss the topic of patriotism, since Kuwait gets pretty patriotic during this time of year. Flags everywhere, shirts, dresses, hats, all representing the colors of the flag. Basically, Kuwait in February is America all year round. Is patriotism bad though? Surprisingly, when I asked for people's thoughts on my Instagram, that's at SHKV1 if you guys still don't know, one person responded with what I wanted to open up with. So, I'll share their answer instead. They'll do my work for me. It's true that patriotism does not equate to nationalism, but the fact that many people confuse the two is further evidence of that fine line that separates them. I feel like being patriotic does not mean that you turn a blind eye to the issues of your country. Take me, for example. I don't come off as a very patriotic person in Kuwait. In fact, whenever the topic's brought up, I tend to be an asshole and criticize my country. I don't mean to come off as some traitorous filth, but it's healthy to keep in mind that our country, although has some great benefits, is still very far from perfect. I can still remain grateful and proud of my country without having to constantly stroke its glorious oil-fueled cock. This was even more evident during my time abroad. I would often try to represent the best features of my country and aim to educate others that we're not just some desert breeding ground for terrorists. I can't really blame people though. I mean, have you seen the countries that border us? I'm not throwing shade, I'm just throwing facts out here. But why is it that I find patriotism troublesome in some cases? Well, patriotism is the idea of inclusion while taking pride in your country. In a country where expats are double if not triple the amount of Kuwaitis, it's hard to feel that inclusive patriotism ripple through society when the structure clearly sets the expats on a lower stature. In the majority cases too, the expats don't think of Kuwait as their home, and thus they show little respect to the rules and regulations set by the country. This ain't a racist rant either though, because Kuwaitis don't follow the rules or regulations either, but because it's their own home, they don't really acknowledge it as much of a severe problem. But that's delving way too deep into politics, and I don't want to fuck with that right now. In the US, many different cultures and races have found their way to the States and have since been intertwined in the very fabric of society. A person's ethnicity does not affect their nationality, and thus everyone is included in the patriotic celebrations. Unless you're like super uber racist or I guess the only people truly cucked are the natives, but they get casinos, I guess. Was that racist? Am I allowed to say that? The US is far from perfect too, but I ain't gonna criticize another country, even though that is literally my bachelor's degree. I will mention one thing though, from the perspective of a foreigner who lived there as a temporary resident. I appreciate it. I appreciate that we're included and encouraged to participate in patriotic celebrations, but if you do so, don't make it sound like I'm a refugee who's got kicked out of their country, that we're not capable of finding joy in our own country and we can only find it in your country. I don't know, it feels a little bit weird. Also, saying that you love your country is fine, but saying your country is the best in front of foreigners just comes off as ignorant and pretentious. You're probably thinking,
But Shaheen, if you're bitching so much about the US, then why did you bother studying there for 5 years?
To which I would say,
Yeah, you're right.
so in conclusion, yeah, you shouldn't be ashamed of loving and being prideful of your country. Just don't be that one mom that thinks their Quasimodo looking son is perfect. Okay, my bad. That ain't right. I love Quasi, and judging someone by their looks is the exact opposite of the message of the movie. What a fucking horrible way to end this. Also, does anyone remember this show? I completely forgot it existed. I just came across it the other day, and holy fuck, it unlocked a piece of my brain that I don't know why I cast away so far in the darkness. Okay, now it's time for the People's Choice Awards. See, I didn't forget this week. I forgot last week, but we learned from our mistakes. Sure, this is the second season, halfway through the second season, and I still make mistakes. But that's why it's a shit show. You know what you came here for. The quality's in the fucking name. Okay, so there were some really good responses. So the question I mentioned earlier in the episode, oh my god, what are your thoughts on Patriot? I misspelled R. I wrote it as AR. Alternate reality? What alternate reality? Your thoughts on patriotism? Wow, how did I let that happen? Anyway, my literacy aside, I think my favorite response, aside from the one that kind of explains nationalism versus patriotism, wasn't really in the question, but I'm glad that person did it. But one of the best answers is, best one not shoved down anybody's throat and served in right situations and proportions. I think that's a healthy way to live life in general. Even another response said, like all things, good in moderation. Again, really healthy way of living, slightly and sadly and unfortunately unrealistic for many people. It just be like that sometimes. Some people went through they kind of brought in that nationalistic misinterpretation of patriotism by saying "Make America Great Again." It's funny in this case because the person who responded is not even American. It just shows what their first idea and thought of patriotism is "Make America Great Again." I'm not gonna exactly go through what that's supposed to mean, but everybody should know. Also, another person said great until it hits the racism mark. Again, that's more of a nationalistic issue. Or if you feel like what I was describing about Americans being, oh, we're the best country in the world. You had some stupid answers like Wakanda forever. And then we had one person who really shared their thoughts by saying it's fucking stupid. And we respect people's opinions. That just goes to show how they were raised in an environment that made them not as proud, or not the concept of patriotism is stupid to them because of how badly interpreted or how badly they experienced it throughout their lives. And then we had the hippiest answer: just respect each other's respective country and love the country you're in. That's again, straightforward, basically an ideal utopia that unfortunately does not exist because, you know, we can't have nice things. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I just want to remind you again that I don't hate Kuwait, for anyone who's listening. I love Kuwait. I shit green, white, red, and black, but that's because I have hepatitis. But whatever, it's still a sense of pride that I haven't got it treated. And also, I will see you guys next week. This wasn't a long episode, which makes it easier for the both of us. And I'm gonna give it a sec. I'm gonna try it. Ooh. I think that was decent. Whatever. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening, and I gotta go sleep.